The Chimp Paradox by Dr. Steve Peters. Picture this. You're in the middle of a heated argument, and suddenly words are flying out of your mouth that you don't even recognize. Your voice climbs higher, your pulse hammers in your ears, and it feels like someone else has hijacked your body. Then later, once everything calms down, you're standing there thinking, why on earth did I say that? That's not who I am. Or maybe you've had that moment at the fridge door. You know exactly what you should eat. You've got your health goals crystal clear in your mind. But somehow, your hand completely bypasses the salad and grabs the chocolate cake instead. It's as if there are two completely different people living in your head, locked in an endless tug of war. One sets the goals, the other gleefully tears them down. For generations, we've blamed this on weak willpower or lack of discipline. We've beaten ourselves up, convinced we're just not strong enough. But here's the twist. What if none of this is actually your fault? What if inside your brain, there really are two distinct beings, each with their own brain, their own agenda, and their own personality, constantly wrestling for the steering wheel of your life? And here's the really wild part. One of them is an irrational, impulsive, emotional creature, essentially a chimpanzee. Now, this isn't just some cute metaphor. This is a genuine framework for understanding how your mind actually works, created by the brilliant psychiatrist Dr. Steve Peters. He's the secret weapon behind some of the world's most elite athletes, helping them tame their inner chaos to claim Olympic gold. Sir Chris Hoy, the legendary cyclist, straight up said this mind program was the key to his Olympic victories. Victoria Pendleton, another cycling champion, credited Dr. Peters with helping her unlock her true potential. These are people operating at the absolute peak of human performance, and their secret wasn't just endless physical training. It was learning how to manage the chimp living inside their heads. The Chimp Paradox has sold millions of copies worldwide, and here's why. It takes incredibly complex brain science and makes it remarkably simple. Think of it as the user's manual for your mind that you never knew you needed. Here's my promise to you. By the end of our time together, you're going to understand exactly who, or rather what, has been sabotaging your best intentions all along. You'll finally meet the emotional powerhouse that's been calling the shots from inside your skull. And most importantly, you're going to learn practical, life-changing techniques to manage it, not through sheer force or willpower, but through genuine understanding. You'll discover how to harness its incredible energy and finally put the real you back in control. So let's dive in and meet your inner chimp. To really grasp the Chimp Paradox, you first need to understand the architecture of your own mind. Dr. Peters asks us to imagine that our brain isn't one unified control center, but actually three separate brains working together, or more accurately, often battling each other. First up, there's the human. This is you, the real you. It's the rational, logical part of your brain living in your frontal lobe. Your human self is who you aspire to be. It thinks long-term, operates on facts and truth, and genuinely wants a happy, meaningful life. When you make a New Year's resolution or craft a sensible life plan, that's your human doing the work. Then there's the chimp. This is the emotional, impulsive part of your brain, hanging out in the limbic system. It's basically a survival machine that came pre-installed at birth. It thinks completely independently from you. And here's the kicker. It's incredibly powerful. It doesn't deal in logic. It runs entirely on feelings, impressions, and gut reactions. It's not inherently good or bad. It's just a chimp. Its whole purpose is survival. Finding food, staying safe, reproducing, and belonging to a group. It sees the world in stark black and white, it can be pretty paranoid, and its emotional reactions are perfectly designed for life in the jungle, not for navigating a modern office or a family dinner. And here's the most crucial thing you need to know about your inner world. Your chimp is roughly 5 times stronger than your human. This explains so much. It's why you suddenly shout at someone you love in a moment of anger. Your human knows it's a terrible idea, but your chimp grabs control of your mouth before your human can even protest. It's why you procrastinate on that important project. Your human is well aware the deadline is approaching, but your chimp just doesn't feel like dealing with it, and its craving for immediate comfort completely overpowers your long-term plans. Dr. Peters shares this incredible true story about a man named Phineas Gage from the 1800s. Gage was a railway worker, known for being responsible and level-headed. Then one day, a horrific accident sent a massive iron rod shooting through his eye socket and out the top of his skull, taking a chunk of his frontal lobe, his human brain, with it. Amazingly, he survived. But his entire personality transformed. He became aggressive, impulsive, and crude. As Dr. Peters explains it, his human was essentially gone. All that remained was the chimp. This story demonstrates that these two parts of our brain are genuinely distinct. You are the human. The chimp is an emotional machine that you happen to share your head with. And this brings us to the most liberating idea in the entire book. You're not responsible for your chimp's nature, but you are responsible for managing it. Think of it like having a dog. You didn't get to choose the dog's temperament. It might naturally be anxious or excitable. That's not on you. But it is your responsibility to train it, care for it, and make sure it doesn't attack the neighbors. For far too long, we've been blaming ourselves for our chimp's nature. Dr. Peters gives us permission to stop the blame game and start the management game instead. But how do you manage a creature that's 5 times stronger than you? You can't just overpower it. Willpower is basically useless when your chimp is fired up. The answer lies in understanding the third part of your brain, the computer. The computer is distributed throughout your brain and functions like a hard drive. It's storage space for beliefs and behaviors that either your human or your chimp has programmed into it. The computer runs on autopilot. When you tie your shoes or drive a familiar route, you're not actively thinking. Your computer is simply running a program. The computer is remarkably fast, roughly 4 times faster than the chimp and about 20 times faster than the human. This is crucial. If you program your computer correctly, it can take control before your chimp even gets a chance to react. But here's the catch. The computer stores absolutely everything you feed it, the helpful stuff and the harmful stuff. Dr. Peters categorizes these stored programs into several types. The useful programs, like automatically brushing your teeth or being naturally polite, he calls autopilots. But the unhelpful and destructive beliefs? Those are gremlins and goblins. A goblin is a deeply ingrained, hardwired belief, usually installed during early childhood, before age 8. They're incredibly difficult, nearly impossible, to completely remove. A gremlin is a negative belief that got installed later in life. It's soft-wired and can actually be removed and replaced. Dr. Peters gives this brilliant example of a common goblin he calls the fridge door syndrome. Picture a young child bouncing home from their first day of school, clutching a painting they made. They rush to a parent, absolutely beaming with pride. The parent takes the painting and gushes, "This is fantastic. You're so clever. I'm so proud of you." And they stick the painting on the refrigerator door for everyone to admire. What message just got downloaded into that child's mind? They learned that their worth, their value, the thing that makes them clever and earns their parents' pride, is their achievement. Their worthiness becomes tied to what they accomplish. This creates a goblin that whispers for the rest of their life. You have to achieve to be worthy. What will people think? It plants a deep-rooted fear of failure and judgment. Now imagine a different scenario. The child runs up with the same painting. But this time the parent sets the painting aside for just a moment, gives the child a big hug, and says, "I'm so proud of you. You're so clever." Then they look at the painting and talk about how wonderful it is. The message here is completely different. You're worthy simply for being you. Your achievements are wonderful, absolutely, but they're separate from your inherent value as a person. So many of our deepest insecurities, constantly worrying about what others think, the relentless need to impress people, aren't character flaws at all. They're goblins and gremlins running on autopilot in our computer. A classic gremlin is the belief, "I should always be on time." Sounds responsible, right? But what happens when you hit unexpected traffic? You become stressed and furious. The gremlin is rigid and unforgiving. A healthier autopilot would be, "I could be on time, but sometimes things happen beyond my control, and that's perfectly okay." That simple shift from should to could can eliminate a massive amount of unnecessary pressure. So we've got these three minds: the rational human, the emotional chimp, and the lightning-fast computer. How do they actually interact? Here's the second unbreakable rule of your mind. All information from the outside world hits the chimp first. The chimp is your first line of defense. It instantly scans every situation for potential danger. If it detects a threat, it hijacks your brain's blood supply and prepares for action. If there's no threat, it relaxes and passes the information along to the human. This is exactly why you can react emotionally before you even have a chance to think logically. Let's look at a classic example: road rage. Amy's driving to work, and another car suddenly cuts her off. The information slams into her chimp first. Her chimp interprets this as a personal attack, a challenge to its territory. It screeches, "That driver just disrespected me. They need to be taught a lesson." Meanwhile, her human is calmly thinking, "It's just a careless driver. Not a big deal. Let it go." But who's stronger? The chimp, by a mile. Before Amy's human can grab the reins, her chimp is already slamming the accelerator, tailgating the other car, and launching into a full-blown chimp versus chimp battle. She arrives at work completely agitated and angry, and it takes hours to settle down. Later, she tells a friend what happened and says, "I don't know why I get so worked up. I hate myself for being so out of control." But with the chimp model, Amy can see what actually happened. It wasn't really her, it was her chimp. Her chimp hijacked her. She's not a bad person. She simply needs a better management strategy for her inner primate. So how exactly do we manage the chimp? Dr. Peters offers 3 brilliant and practical techniques. He calls them exercise, box, and bananas. First, you need to exercise the chimp. When your chimp is agitated, it's absolutely buzzing with emotional energy. It needs to release it. You can't reason with it while it's screeching and thrashing around. So you need to let it vent, but, and this is absolutely critical, you have to do it in a safe place. You wouldn't release a real chimp in a crowded supermarket. You'd take it to a secure area. Similarly, don't exercise your chimp on your boss or your partner. Find a trusted friend, or even just lock yourself in a private room and let it all pour out. Say everything you're feeling, no matter how irrational it sounds. "He never supports me. He always does this. It's completely unfair." Let the chimp rant for 5 or 10 minutes. Once it empties its emotional tank, it will settle down and actually be ready to listen. Take Andy, who's absolutely terrified of going to the dentist. His chimp is going completely wild. "I can't handle this. I'm going to make a complete fool of myself. Why do we even need teeth? Instead of trying to suppress this, Andy needs to exercise it. He lets the chimp ramble on with all its catastrophic fears until it's completely exhausted. Second, after the chimp has exercised, you box the chimp. Boxing the chimp means talking to it with facts, truth, and solid logic. You're not commanding it or forcing it, you're reasoning with it. Once Andy's chimp is worn out, his human can step in and say, "Okay, I hear you." It might be slightly uncomfortable, but it'll only last 30 minutes, and then the problem will be solved. It's not the end of the world, it's just a filling. He's not using fake positive thinking or empty platitudes. He's using reality thinking. He's confronting the chimp's catastrophic emotions with simple, undeniable truths. This process of presenting facts helps to box the chimp, calming it down and putting it to sleep. Sometimes you'll have to put the chimp back in its box repeatedly for the same issue. That's completely fine. This is ongoing management, not a one-time fix. The third technique is to give the chimp bananas. Bananas are distractions or rewards that can satisfy the chimp in the short term. Let's say you struggle to get out of bed in the morning. The instant the alarm goes off, your chimp launches into its routine. It's so cozy here. Just 5 more minutes. Trying to reason with it won't work. Instead, you use a distraction banana. You create a simple automatic routine. The alarm goes off, and on the count of 5, my feet hit the floor. No thinking aloud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're up. You've distracted the chimp before it could even start its negotiation. A reward banana is just as straightforward. I need to write 10 emails, but I really don't feel like it. You tell your chimp, when we finish 5 emails, we can have a coffee. Suddenly, the chimp is on your team, helping you focus so it can claim its reward. It might seem a bit irrational, but remember, the chimp is irrational. You need to speak its language. These 3 techniques, exercise, box, and bananas, form the foundation of your chimp management toolkit. And the very first step to using them effectively is simply recognizing who's actually in control at any given moment. Dr. Peters gives us this golden question to ask ourselves: do I want these thoughts or feelings? This model extends beautifully to how we interact with other people. When you realize that every single person also has a chimp, it genuinely changes everything. When someone is angry, irrational, or defensive, you're not dealing with a human. You're dealing with their chimp. Knowing this allows you to stay in human mode, not take things personally, and prevent your own chimp from getting triggered into a fight. The most effective communication happens human to human. The most destructive is chimp to chimp. This is why building the right support network, what Dr. Peters calls your troop, is absolutely vital. In the jungle, a lone chimp doesn't survive long. It needs a troop for safety and security. Your inner chimp has this exact same powerful, primal drive to belong. This is at the root of so much of our social anxiety: the desperate need to be accepted, the fear of what others think, the exhausting desire to please everyone. It's our chimp frantically trying to stay safe within the troop. The problem is, our human often misleads our chimp into thinking that everyone around us is in our troop. We live in society, so we should be nice to everyone, right? The chimp then tries to please the entire world, and gets genuinely hurt when it encounters other people's chimps who aren't friendly. The solution is to consciously define your troop. Who are the handful of people you can truly trust? Your partner, your closest friends, your family. These are the people whose opinions genuinely matter. Everyone else belongs to other troops. You can be friendly and polite to them, but you don't need their approval for your survival. This single insight can free you from a lifetime of crippling social anxiety. Ultimately, the entire Chimp management model is about creating a stable inner world so that you can actually achieve what you truly want in life: success and happiness. Dr. Peters makes a crucial distinction between a dream and a goal. A dream is something you want but don't have complete control over, like winning a race or landing a specific job. A goal is something you do have full control over, like your training schedule or your interview preparation. When you focus on a dream, you activate your chimp because the outcome is uncertain. The chimp panics about the possibility of failure. But when you focus on your goals, the things you can actually control, you activate your human. You feel calm and empowered. The secret to achieving your dreams is to actually stop obsessing over them. Instead, break the dream down into its component parts, the foundation stones, and set controllable goals for each one. Don't dream of winning the race. Set goals for your nutrition, your sleep schedule, and your weekly training mileage. Achieve those goals, and the dream will naturally take care of itself. And this brings us right to the heart of the paradox itself. Your chimp, this impulsive emotional creature, can absolutely be your worst enemy. It can sabotage your health, wreck your relationships, and derail your career. But if you learn to nurture it, to genuinely understand its needs, and to manage it with wisdom and compassion, it can also become your greatest ally. It's the source of your passion, your creativity, your empathy, and your relentless drive. It provides the raw emotional power that your human can then channel and direct. The journey isn't about silencing the chimp. It's about learning to live harmoniously with it. It's about recognizing that you have this powerful animal living inside you and choosing, day by day, moment by moment, to be its wise manager, not its helpless servant. That's the Chimp Paradox. As we wrap up our journey through the Chimp Paradox, I keep coming back to one profound and deeply comforting idea: you are not broken. For so much of our lives, we're caught in this internal war. We make promises to ourselves that we completely fail to keep. We react in ways we deeply regret. And in those quiet moments afterward, we judge ourselves so incredibly harshly. We think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just have more willpower? Dr. Peters' work offers a different, far more compassionate answer. There's nothing wrong with you. You're simply a human living with a chimp. Those feelings of anxiety, the impulsive urges, the irrational fears, they're not personal failings. They're the natural, completely predictable outputs of an ancient survival machine that you happen to carry around in your head. The relief that comes from this realization is genuinely immense. It's the difference between seeing yourself as a failed human and seeing yourself as a perfectly capable manager of a very energetic chimp. It shifts the entire dynamic, from crushing self-blame to practical self-management. And that shift is the crucial first step toward real personal freedom. The beauty of this book lies in its practicality. It doesn't just hand you an abstract theory, it gives you an actual toolkit. The concepts of exercising, boxing, and giving bananas are so straightforward, so memorable, that you can start using them the moment you finish reading. The idea of the fridge door syndrome is something that once you hear it, you suddenly see everywhere, in yourself, in your friends, woven into the very fabric of our achievement-obsessed culture. It teaches us that self-mastery isn't about brute force or grinding willpower. It's about wisdom. It's about understanding the different parts of yourself and learning to speak to each one in its own language. You speak to the human with logic and reason, and you speak to the chimp with emotion, reassurance, and sometimes a perfectly timed banana. So, how can you start applying this today, right this moment? Here are 3 simple actions. First, give your chimp an actual name. This might sound a bit silly, but it's an incredibly powerful psychological trick. The moment you name it, whether it's Cheeky Charlie or Anxious Annie, you create separation. When you feel a surge of anger bubbling up, you can say, "Ah, Charlie's getting worked up again," instead of, "I'm so angry." This creates the crucial mental space you need to shift from reacting blindly to managing consciously. Second, for the next week, practice using the golden question. Whenever you feel a strong, unwanted emotion rising, pause for just a moment and ask yourself, do I actually want this feeling? If the answer is no, simply acknowledge, this isn't me, this is my chimp. That's it. Just practice that simple recognition. This basic act of awareness is the foundation that everything else builds on. Third, identify one recurring gremlin in your life. What's one unhelpful belief that keeps showing up and causing trouble? Maybe it's, I'm not good enough, or I must not fail, or I have to please everyone. Write it down clearly. Then, write a new, truthful autopilot to replace it. For example, instead of, I must not fail, write, I can only do my best, and I'm capable of handling any outcome. Put that new autopilot somewhere, you'll see it every single day. Your computer learns through repetition and reinforcement. This book is so much more than just a model. It's a completely new lens through which to view yourself and everyone around you with more patience, more understanding, and more genuine compassion. It reminds us that we all have a chimp living inside us, and we're all just doing our best to manage it. That was a summary of the Chimp Paradox by Dr. Steve Peters. We've explored the main ideas today, but I need to be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It shows you the layout, the key cities, and the main roads, but it can never replace the actual experience of walking those ancient streets, tasting the local food, and feeling the sun warming your face. The real magic of a book like this happens when you read it for yourself. It's in those quiet moments, when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with your own life in a way you never expected. This summary is your map, designed to help you decide if this is a journey worth taking. If anything we've talked about today has genuinely resonated with you, I truly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning concepts. It's an experience that can genuinely transform the way you relate to the most important person in your life, yourself. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and give this a like. It tells us we're heading in the right direction and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. We're building a community of curious learners here, and I'm genuinely glad you're part of it. Let's keep growing together.